You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, my name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. We're going to be breaking down what Drew Brees had to say about Spencer Rattler because he sounded off and showed the guy a lot of love on the Up and Adams show. We're also going to go through a live mailbag where our questions and or where our subscribers, as a part of our weekly live shows, ask questions, share hot takes, and all sorts of good stuff. Y'all have questions, we have answers, and if you want the New Orleans Saints to prove the haters, the doubters, because which there are many, you want to prove them wrong? Like the video. I think the Saints are going to have a fun year. I'm excited to see what they can do, and I'm pumped to see Coach Teef. Alrighty, let's start this thing off by talking about Up and Adams, because Kay Adams, known lover of the New Orleans Saints, had Drew Brees on Wednesday morning to discuss a lot of different stuff, but the most notable of all was he discussed Spencer Rattler because recently he's been named the QB1 in New Orleans. Kay Adams asked, hey, Drew, what do you think about Rattler? What did you think about him last year? Do you agree with the decision? And here's what he had to say. I was impressed with Rattler last year, especially on a team that was decimated by injury. He lost Olave and Shaheed early in that year, so he was shorthanded. I think they have a really impressive roster. The big question mark is how can the quarterback play? If he can manage the game, distribute the ball, and make good decisions, who scares you in the NFC South right now? And I think that that's a good point to make, and for what it's worth, I'm wearing the Drew Brees jersey because anytime you get the opportunity to talk about the GOAT, got to rep the colors, you know? So with the NFC South, in my personal opinion, of course, trades, draft picks, free agency, all that's kind of pretty much done up to this point. There will be a few more moves that still happen, but I don't think any team in the NFC South got drastically better. Like, I genuinely don't think there's any team in this division that is leaps and bounds better than any other squad. You could make an argument that the Buccaneers are the best team, they're the team to beat, because they've won the conference, the division conference, whatever, multiple years in a row. But I will also add that I think the Panthers don't really scare me. The Falcons, they are the Atlanta Falcons. The Buccaneers, like, none of them got that much better. The Saints, they are in that category too. They did not get that much better, but they made a lot of necessary changes. They made a lot of schematic changes. So why not the New Orleans Saints? Why not us? I don't see why the Saints have to be counted out and have to be considered the worst team in football and have to be considered the team that'll be picking number one overall in April. I don't understand why that's the case here. They have some talent on the roster, both offensively and defensively, so I don't necessarily disagree with Drew Brees. I think this is a wide open division, to be totally honest, with the Buccaneers as the team to beat. Brees also thought that the New Orleans Saints would bring in a veteran quarterback. They were, he talked about, hey, like, I get they have Kellen Moore. They got Scott Tolzien. They got Doug Nussmeier. Like, they have not shied away from saying we don't need a veteran quarterback. We feel like we fulfill that presence through the coaching staff we currently have. Drew Brees saying this, I assumed we would see training camp play out, and if there was a veteran quarterback that could be traded for to bring into the room, whether that was that player starts or is there for support for the young guys, I think that's vital. You need someone in the QB room that can not only support the player, help them with the film study, and help them really more so than anything be a buffer between play caller, quarterback coach, and the starter. You really need that. He mentioned Doug Flutie and Mark Brunell as great mentors throughout his career, and I do believe that the New Orleans Saints should have at least considered bringing one in. The Saints have Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler as the two quarterbacks on your active roster. You have Hunter Deckers and Jake Haener as the two quarterbacks on the practice squad. So when it comes to the New Orleans Saints, you look at the squad and you say there's no veteran quarterback presence, but actually, got to remind you a little guy, Taysom Hill. For what it's worth, the injury update around him, not much update. He's on the PUP list. He can't return he can't return through the at least first 4 weeks. So with Taysom Hill, could he be that veteran quarterback presence? Because the Saints, they could lean on Taysom Hill to potentially say, hey, I know you've been a passer. I know you've played quarterback. I know you've played in this team before. I know you've played with some of these guys. Like let's make this work. Let's show these young passers some support, and I think that genuinely could be a really good role for Taysom Hill, especially considering he's not working out, he's not doing practice, he's not doing stuff right now. Like, I think that he could be a really, really good presence as a mentor for for both quarterbacks, Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler, because he has seen it and he has played at a high level. He has won some games as a quarterback. So for me, Taysom Hill could potentially be that quarterback presence. Drew Brees even saying that that somebody should have made a commitment to him. To me, when I retired, somebody should have made a commitment to Taysom Hill. The unfortunate thing for him is that he was such a special player in so many ways, that he brought so much value as this Swiss Army knife. We might never see another athlete like him again because he was just that unique. There's no question about it. First of all, Taysom Hill, he's not returning from injury anytime soon. Secondly, he is going to end up in Canton. Taysom Hill is one of the greatest football players of all time. If you want to talk about purely a football player, name me 5 other players who have lined up as a kick returner, as a punt returner, punt block. He's on the kick return team, receiver, tight end, quarterback, running back, fullback, line. Like, he's done everything. This guy literally has done everything. There are a handful of players who have done what Taysom Hill has done at the level that he has done. So he is going to be a Hall of Famer, but he will not be returning from injury anytime soon. Hey, remember, he tore his ACL in December. He's on the wrong side of 30. Like, these are things that take time to progress. And of course, maybe he's like, oh, we're practicing and he's, able to move around, but practicing is very different than playing at the NFL level. So when it comes to Taysom Hill, I do think that he is a player that could be considered, and I want to talk more about him here in just one moment. But today's show would not be made possible if it weren't for our friends over at Chubby's. We're also got some questions and some hot takes to respond to, so be sure to stick around for the next few minutes. Got a question for you, though. Are you ready for some football? And if you're not, Chubby's is ready to help you out with their NFL collection. Whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs and lows of the Saints season from your couch, Chubby's has the officially licensed NFL gear to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. For a limited time, you can use our exclusive code CHATSPORTS for $10 off at chubbyshorts.com/CHATSPORTS. chubbyshorts.com/chatsports to make it easy. Yes, that does include the NFL collection. Let the thighs out, let the good times roll. And by the way, Chubby's is the ultimate football apparel brand, so much so that they created their own fantasy football league. George Kittle, Ian Rappaport, and others have come together to assemble the Chubby's League on NFL Fantasy. Each week, the top 5 scorers will win a chance at Chubby's polos and shorts combos with their team's logo. The grand champion gets the chance at the ultimate fan experience, a 5-city, 5-stadium NFL game tour with a +1, while the fantasy flop faces a hilarious and unforgettable punishment only Chubby's could pull off. Head to chubbyshorts.com/thechubbiesleague to learn more and have some fun. Get ready for the most outrageous fantasy football season of your life. And would you look at that, folks? For a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving listeners of Saints Now by Chat Sports $10 off with promo code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com/chatsports. Make sure you plug in that promo code CHATSPORTS to get $10 off your order, and that does include the NFL collection. All that information is in the comments and description of this video. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Shout out to Chubby's. Now, going back to Taysom Hill, this conversation is really interesting because I do believe that he can serve a really, really strong role as a support system in the quarterback room. I also think that he could still line up and play quarterback a little bit when he returns from injury. I'm not saying he should be the starter, but I'm saying 10, 15 snaps at quarterback a game. You're throwing it a couple of times. Sometimes you hand it off. Sometimes you run it. Like, if Taysom Hill's on the field, the entire opposing defense starts shitting bricks because he can do literally anything at any moment in time. So when it comes to Taysom Hill, it's also worth noting he might actually be primarily viewed as a quarterback, according to this regime. Shough has mentioned multiple times that Taysom Hill has been working with the quarterbacks, so I do think Kellen Moore and Coach Teef might be saving this football team. Coming up, we're going to go through our live mailbag. Got some questions, got some hot takes, got to respond to each and every one of you. But really quickly, I want to encourage you and remind you to subscribe to the channel. Saints Now by Chat Sports. We are on the road to 50K. It is a perfect time to buy stock in this channel. It's a perfect time to take Chat Sports to the moon because we are only picking things up. If you're a diehard Saints fan and you bleed black and gold, no matter what, this is the place to be. It is Saints content by fans for fans. So I hope that you join our family. Help us get to 50,000 subscribers and join our squad by subscribing. First question coming in from Vernell. What are your thoughts on losing Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I am extremely surprised that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back in Kansas City. For those of you who don't know, the Saints cut Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then he decided to go sign with the Chiefs. I can't blame him. The Chiefs are going to have a much better season than the Saints, but you can't blame him for wanting to leave. I personally thought there was like a handshake agreement under the table, kind of, hey, we'll cut you, we'll bring it back, it's all good. But he decides to go up to the Kansas City Chiefs. Brain fart, thanks Lopez. DeMarco Jackson reunites with Dennis Allen in Chicago. Rico Payton reunites with Paulson Adebo up in New York. So those are just some players that were on the Saints roster that signed elsewhere. So in terms of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, stinks to see him go. I thought he was pretty effective as a Saints running back, was good blocking as well. But at the end of the day, the Saints made the decisions they needed to, and I'm going to just let Kellen Moore do what he needs to do. I'm going to have some faith in him. Oh, my God. He's back. He's back. Okay. The monster under Trace's bed. Do you think both QBs will start games this season? Yes, I do think that both QBs will start games this season. Monster under my bed. Dude, I'm sorry. Yes, I do think both quarterbacks will start. Spencer Rattler obviously is QB1, but let's just call a spade here. By no means am I rooting for him to fail. By no means am I saying he will fail. I am hoping, let me make this explicitly clear. I, Trace Girouard, am hoping that the New Orleans Saints quarterbacks, between one of the two of them, figure it out. Don't care who, don't care which one. I just want the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints to be good. Don't care. You will see both players. The Saints are not going to win 10, 12, 13, 14 games. The Saints are going to have a much tougher season. And so I think it will make some sense to see Tyler Shough later in the year. And heck, I'm just going to put it out there. Let's say the Saints do have a really, really good year. You bench your starters late in the season anyway once you lock up your playoff position. So, at that point, you would see Tyler Shough. So, yes, either way, you will see both quarterbacks start games this season, in my personal opinion. J-Dog, what is your opinion on Velus Jones Jr.? Look, I don't think Velus Jones is like a crazy player to get upset about if he's on the roster or considering he's on the roster. He was really, really good in special teams. He's a very fast returner as well, and I think that he could bring a little bit of pop. This offense and this roster has a ton of speed for what it's worth, like a lot of speed, which is really, really nice. But I'm not going to be too upset that he made the roster. I think that actually having Shaheed and Velus Jones as your two kick returners is really, really dangerous. So for me, I don't hate keeping Velus Jones around. You have to understand he's not going to be asked to do a ton on the offense. And if he starts being bad, guess what? You cut him and you bring back Dante Pettis or something like that. Lanky boy, I appreciate your question though, J-Dog. We should draft Elijah Sarrett next season. By the way, appreciate your donation right there. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't know anything about a receiver from Indiana. I don't know anything about any of these players next year. 6'2", 209 pounds. He is a 3-year player. Spent some time at JMU and at Indiana last season. 53 catches, 957 yards, 18 yards per grab, and 8 touchdowns. Just solely off that, I like that. James Madison had 82 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 14.5 yards per catch, 8 touchdowns. Has 29 career touchdowns, averages 16.1 yards per catch. I don't hate it. The Saints are definitely going to need to bring in some wide receiver help next year, so do not hate that idea at all. Relax. Hot tape alert. The Saints will be a top 10 defense this year. I don't know if this is as hot of a take as you think it is. Sure, outward looking in, if you're like CBS, Bleacher Report, ESPN, Colin Cowherd, or whatever, you're going to say there's no chance the Saints have a top 10 defense. I actually think this is going to be a really good squad defensively. Lopez, what do you think?
I'll give you a little bit of pushback. I think the Saints defense is actually going to be pretty good this year too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to finish top 10 simply because I don't think they have that all-around talent that I'd like to see. There's still a couple of holes. That run defense that we saw in the preseason wasn't there.
Sure.
But those first few drives that we saw against the Broncos in preseason week 3,
they
when
were
the starters
good.
were out there,
They were good.
they made the Broncos not look great.
Yeah, they were good. They were fine. Sure, you had Courtland Sutton doing a lot of good things, but he's one of the best receivers in the league. It happens. It's okay. For what it's worth, I do think the Saints defense is going to be really, really good. Top 10 might be tough. I think it'll be top half for sure. Like, they will be in the top half of the defense. I think the run defense, hopefully, will have improved. I really like the pass rush that we have. I really like the new scheme. I really like the coaching changes that have been made. I think the defense will be much better than they were last year. Great point there. Relax. Quick Courtney! With all of these QBs released, do you think we go after one? If so, which one? I'm going to say no, not right now, unless there's an injury that happens. Because the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion, had they wanted to add a quarterback, they would have already done it. And they did that with Hunter Deckers. They brought him in for minicamp, and that was kind of it. They haven't really had much change in the quarterback room. Could have gone and gotten Tyler Huntley. Could have gone and gotten, or you claimed Tommy DeVito off of waivers. Could have done a lot of different things. Carson Wentz was available for a long time. They're like, in my opinion, had the Saints wanted to add a quarterback, they already would have done that. So I don't think that they are actually going to. But in terms of guys available, maybe Easton Stick. I mean, I don't even know who's available right now because there's been so much shifting around with the waiver wire and with the rosters. I haven't been able to look at where everyone is. Hendon Hooker is now with the Carolina Panthers. That would have been one that could have been fun. But as Lopez said, crazy that you're going to see a jersey or a team have a quarterback and a player named Hooker, and their motto is keep pounding. Shout out to Lopez for that one. Okay, yes, you can. Ethan, Lopez, you just cracked me up. All right, what is our floor and ceiling this year? I say we win 5 games at least, but as many as 9. I have seen some fans say 13 wins. You should not expect 13 wins. You should expect, I think 5 is fair. I think 5 wins is fair. I think 4.5 is a good line to set at the bare minimum. Last year, the Saints won 5 games, and I think they're a better team this year than they were last year. I know that you don't have as good of a quarterback situation as you did last year, technically, because Derek, I mean, say what you want, but technically the quarterback situation isn't as good as it was last year. But everything else around it is better, in my opinion. So I'm going to say floor 5 wins, ceiling 9 or 10. That's rich. Like, that's really rich. I think like closer to 8, to be honest. What about you, Lopez? What do you think?
Kind of leaning in that same boat. Looking at the Saints schedule, it could be a lot worse. It's kind of friendly for the team that they are.
Yes.
I think they take one against the Panthers at least. I think they take one at least against the Falcons.
Yep.
I don't think the Jets are that good.
I think the Cardinals you can beat. I think the Niners are a beatable team.
I think we start one. I don't know if we beat the Niners. I feel like that defense might come together a little bit more this year.
Sure.
But like Cardinals are not that great.
But my thing with the Niners is they're not a team that you're like, yeah, that's a loss. Like, yeah. I don't think that's a sure loss. That could be a close game. That's one of those, could go either way. Mistakes are what's going to be the deciding factor.
I think one game that people have just been, like, overlooking, I don't think the Patriots are great.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Everyone's saying the Patriots are going to be great. Brett Alper here at the office is trying to shit-talk the Saints and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to smoke you guys. We're going to be smoking that Saints pack. Like, I'm sorry.
What do they have?
Drake May, like, cool, but Travion Henderson, cool, but like I'm sorry,
let me see it first.
Yeah, let me see it first. Same with the Jets. Let me see it first. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting season. I will tell you right now, the New Orleans Saints will not have the first overall pick. Mr. Swifty, congratulations on your engagement. Shout out to all of the women out there who are also going to be getting engaged very soon because I want to share an engagement year with Taylor Swift. If the Saints are bad, we should draft a top quarterback. Look, I don't actually disagree with this take because you could go with it a couple of different ways. And Mr. Swift, I'm going to play some devil's advocate here. One, do you need a quarterback? Like, if Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough is good, and let's say you just need another weapon, or let's say the defense is the issue, then I don't think you need one. But let's say both of them aren't good, and you have a top 3 pick, you might kind of be forced into picking one. The other alternative you could do is if you say, hey, all right, we liked what we saw. We got some promise. One of these QB needy teams that's absolutely desperate, let's call it, say they're a top 5 pick. One of these QB needy teams is like, we're going to trade you the entire farm because we just freaking need a quarterback. Raiders, Rams, those could be two teams that love to do that kind of stuff, love to trade up, need a quarterback potentially in the future. Bucks, they won't trade with the Saints. But like my point being, there's a lot of teams out there who have their quarterback, but in the future they don't. So they may want to be like, let's go get a good player now. We can rest him and keep him on the bench, develop him, and then move forward. So I don't hate the idea of drafting a quarterback. I think I need to play it out and see what happens first. If you have the first overall pick, take a quarterback. Unless you get the most insane trade offer in return, take a quarterback. Just keep yourself easy. Keep your life easy. Don't overthink this. That's my personal opinion. But again, I am not confident that the New Orleans Saints will be the number 1 overall pick. They might be high, but I don't think they're going to be the number 1 overall selection. Pick a quarterback for me. Who would you like to see be the passer for the black and gold? The rattlesnake, Spencer Rattler. Are you shucking it with Tyler Shough? Are you feeling the Nuss bus, or are you on the march for Arch? Type their initials in the comment section. Share your thoughts, Who Dat Nation. I want to hear from you. And I do appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's video. Had a lot of fun talking about Drew Brees and Spencer Rattler. Got to answer some questions, and we got to have a very fun discussion, as always, here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Don't forget to subscribe, and y'all stay golden.